All right, everybody. Thank you so much for taking time to join us today. This is the official Stackably launch event. We have put more prep time into this event than any event that I've ever done. So excited and really appreciative of your time today. Let me introduce myself to start off with and talk about the event. So my name is James Shepard. For those of you that don't know me, I've been in the payments industry now for a little over 15 years. Interestingly, today I was doing a little memory lane. I went down to the YouTube channel, looked at my oldest videos from over 14 years ago, which is kind of hard to believe with my little webcam. And so it's been quite a journey. I have my team pull some stats of just kind of the engagement of so many of you that have participated. Very humbling, like seeing the numbers, and 700,000 times people have listened to the Merchant Sales podcast, millions of views on YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. And, just this whole journey of, starting out in the industry, my goal has always been to make merchant sales competitive. And so just all the different ways and iterations of that over the years, just very grateful and very humbled by all of you that have participated in my journey. I think it's a pretty cool, world that we live in today, that there's actually this kind of documentation of entrepreneurs from the very beginning and going all the way through. And, today sitting here in this awesome studio with a big team of people getting ready to demo a full suite of technology solutions is, I just feel very blessed. It's just an awesome time to be in business, and just really grateful for all of that. So let me tell you what we're going to be doing on the live event today, and then we'll jump in. So I'm going to start off talking to you about a couple of things just for a little bit, maybe about 10 minutes or so. I want to kind of set the stage for why we're rolling out Stackably, what the solution is all about. Then I'm going to kick it over to Ben. Ben Shirey is going to do a demo of Stackably. So you're going to be able to actually see it in action. He's going to show you the web dashboard, some of the hardware that we have, show you the native mobile apps that we're using. So he'll go through all of that. Then he's going to kick it back to me. I want to talk about agent commitment and kind of how this works with the agent a little bit. Then I'm going to have John Shirey, CEO at Full Stack Payments. He's going to talk to you about things like the compensation model, the new revised Full Stack Payments app, some of the really cool things there. You are definitely going to want to hang around for John, because he is going to show you a compensation model that most of you have never seen before. It's going to feel familiar, but it's really innovative. You've never seen anything like it, I doubt. Definitely not in a native mobile app. So I'm excited for you to see that when you're submitting these deals, what kind of compensation you can get. So he's going to talk about that. Then we're going to do a Q&A. So any questions that you have, you can put those in the Q&A, and we'll answer those questions there at the end. So before we dive into all this, I want to talk about disruptive innovation for just a minute. Okay. Disruptive innovation. Now, in our industry, when we think about disruptive innovations, again, over the last 15 years since I've been in the industry, the obvious foundational disruption is integrated payments, right? So when I first got into the business, payments was kind of a standalone concept for most merchants that I walked into. Even decent sized businesses that had multiple locations, they were processing payments on a credit card terminal. And that was it. It wasn't even a touchscreen. It was just a regular credit card machine. Hypercom T7 was real popular when I got in, and it was like the Nurit 2085. That was like the latest and greatest. And so that tells you how old I am. So that was what I was selling to merchants, and I was out selling door to door, sold hundreds of merchants on those types of solutions. But what happened is, over the last 15 years, this innovation of software, really the integration became where payments was just a feature of software. So businesses wanted their software and they wanted it to work with their payments, right? And so that kind of fundamental innovation happened. Now, here's my first question for all of you. So go ahead and get that chat ready. And I want you to type out for me, if you had to think about the two companies in the industry, the two companies who have done more to disrupt the ISO agent model by using this technology of integrated payments, what are the two software companies or technology companies that have been most disruptive in the ISO agent space, that have just disrupted our business, taken merchants from our portfolios, have been really, really disruptive? I already know what my two are, but I want to see what you guys put in there. Okay. Yes. And so my team is giving me a thumbs up here that pretty much everyone is putting the same thing I am. So go ahead and go to the next slide. And I think we're all thinking the same thing, which is Toast and Square, right? Now, I want to talk about these two for a minute. So just bear with me, because I think this is important to understand this context before we talk about Stackably, because this is a big reason strategically for why we're making this move in the first place. So let's talk about Square for a minute, right? When you think about Square, it's like, man, they're such disruptors, right? But really, what is it? Did they create the idea of accepting a payment? No. Did they create the idea of a native mobile app? No, right? What was it they did that was so disruptive? Well, two things. Number one, they packaged the solution up for a different type of merchant, right? Early on, I think it was in their second year, they were doing 100,000 new merchants a month. But our industry, we were like, you can have those merchants. They were like flea market merchants. They were like individual side hustle people doing $200 a month in volume. We were like, we didn't even want those merchants, right? But what happened is they created a solution for that segment of the market, right? They had to have a lower cost structure, which is why they came up with the payback model, right? They had to have instant, seamless onboarding. Why? Because it's 100,000 merchants. They can't do it by hand. The software had to be really easy to use. The pricing had to be simple. Well, then they took that technology, that concept, and they brought it mass market. They started bringing it in, going up market to the merchants that we sell, right? Those mom and pop shops, those standalone businesses. And they started saying, hey, maybe these larger businesses would also like simple payments. Maybe they would also like transparency. Maybe they would also like free software, right? That business model comes in. We'll give you free software if you do our payments, right? All of those concepts, they started going up market and further up. Toast, same thing, right? At the time that they launched, it was like Micros, Aloha, and NCR. And in order to set up one of those solutions, they were built for enterprise. It wasn't cloud native. Like you had to set up an actual like computer server at your business. Setup costs were $10, $20, $30, $40,000 for a location to set up these point of sale systems. It was out of reach for small businesses, right? And so Toast came in, and what did they do? Did they create the point of sale system idea? No. Did they create the idea of a menu, a modifier? No, they didn't do any of that. All these features already existed. What they did is they had a unique distribution model. They had a unique business model, and they came to smaller, independently owned restaurants and said, hey, you can have these features as well. They're cloud native. And because the payments and the software were tied tightly together from a business model perspective, right? They could give it away for free, or they could really lower that barrier to entry to get these businesses a robust point of sale system. Now, what some of you may not remember, I remember because I've been around a while in the industry, when Square and Toast both rolled out, they were very simple. They were very focused. They did not have all the features. Toast was really not a very good restaurant POS when it rolled out. I mean, it was very basic. It was good at what it did, but it was very basic. Square, when it rolled out, literally it was an app on your phone where you could take a card payment. You could type in the amount and you could take a payment. That was it. That was all it did, right? Initially. But what happened is very rapidly, there was this innovation, that occurred, right? And so as we think about these disruptors, right, the business model of free software, tightly integrated payments made a huge difference. So here's the question. The question is, what's next? What is the next innovation? Right. And when I think about the next innovation and what's going to come next, right? So when you look at, again, Toast and Square, right? They were built off of this idea of integrated payments. They took that foundational change in the market and they made something out of that. I believe the next change is going to be custom vertical specific software for small business owners. Again, does custom software exist? Absolutely. Most enterprises build their own software, like large enterprise companies, right? Walmart, they do a lot of their own software, right? For their system. What about vertical specific? Does that exist? Of course it exists, right? But for small business owners, there needs to be a new business model that allows small businesses to get that same feeling of being able to have a custom solution just for them. You want to go in and sell a small business owner today, and you want to get them to leave Square, right? How are you going to do that? Well, the two things you want to be able to say to them is either number one, I've got a vertical specific solution. You're using Square. Oh my goodness. I have a solution that's specifically built for your business type. Why are you still using Square? I've used this illustration so many times, but CC Storage, one of the companies that we own, targets self-storage property owners, right? With all these vertical specific features. We have no problem competing with Square. No one ever even brings it up. Like if they're using Square, we're like, oh, great. So you're going to switch. And they're like, yeah, of course. Like, why would you use Square? We have a vertical specific solution. So that's number one. The other one that you can pitch people is I'm going to custom tailor a software just for you, right? That's only been available to the top end. So what is the foundational disruption that's happening? The foundational disruption, and this may be a little harder for some of you to wrap your mind around if you haven't done a lot of software development work or worked with software developers, the cost of building software is going down. AI is going to drive it down even further. And so what's going to happen, and we're already seeing it now, is that this has been happening over the last 30 years, but now it seems like it's just really speeding up to where so many startups, it used to be you needed to raise $10 million if you want to build a software startup. Now you need to raise like $100,000. And then you can pick a vertical, build a software for that vertical, and you can compete. I want merchant sales agents to remain competitive. And in order to do that, you've got to get out ahead of it. You can't be lagging behind. You've got to get out ahead of it. So my solution to that problem is Stackably. Okay. And so I want to talk to you about Stackably for just a minute before I kick it over to Ben to do an actual demo. Okay. Stackably is an unbelievable solution. And I want to share the story with you of how we came to have this software. Okay. So what happened was I got a connection to a guy. I'll have him on an event at some time in the future. Fantastic guy. He was the founder of a software company. And I've met many founders of software company. I've been demoed on many different softwares. But this guy had 4 things that are very, very unique. I've never met another founder who had all 4 of these things. Okay. These 4 things were, number 1, he owns 80 martial arts and fitness studios. He owns 20 quick serve restaurants and is deeply connected into like the network of franchise restaurant world. He also has a consulting and coaching business. So think about those 3 different businesses that he owns. And he had a developer shop. So he had about 50 developers. So those building blocks are what he had. What did he do with these building blocks? Well, he took a long period of time and he's like, you know what? I think I want one software that can handle all of these business types for me, right? Because he had different software to do marketing for this business versus this one versus this one. He had a different point of sale for his restaurant than he had at his gyms. So he's like, I'm going to build one solution. And so he did. He built this one software. And the first time I got a demo of it, I was like absolutely blown away. Like, what is this? This software that does like menu, inventory, appointment scheduling, finance, marketing, project management. Yeah, I was like, what in the world? What is this thing? This is unbelievable. Like, it did everything, right? And so it was built for that kind of enterprise need right off of the bat. And he went to market with it and has done well. It's a battle-tested system. It's been around for several years. And he's worked with a lot of these really large organizations that needed this really robust software. But because he works with all these different business types, he had to build it in a very modular way. Well, I immediately saw an opportunity and I ended up doing a deal with this guy. And, long story short, we ended up acquiring a copy of this technology, like our own separate copy of the technology for Stackably. And they did a joint venture with him and his company so that we can continue working with his, 50 developers, right? As we roll this out rapidly. And what we've done is over the last, 6-8 months, we've been working on really making the system even more modular and creating a system that was perfect for small business owners, but also for agents who were going to sell small business owners. So to be clear, Full Stack Payments, Stackably as a division, Stackably is owned by Full Stack Payments. We control 100% of the merchant experience. We do the onboarding. We ship out the terminal. We do the merchant support. Like we are responsible for all of that ourselves. But we also have a technology partner that's working with us in as a joint venture to continue development of features and roll these things out. So it's very unique. So it's a full feature platform. I have on the screen here some things that Ben will show you, but we have one app that's for the merchant. Stackably admin, and Ben will show you that. It's an incredible solution for the merchant. They can write from their phone, send invoices, they can look at reporting, they can pull up a little point of sale application and ring up items. Really incredible. We have the Stackably POS, which is for that employee where we don't want them to have all the admin access, but they're still needing to have that point of sale solution in their hand for a table side or something. We even have Stackably Connect, which is for the actual end consumer who wants to manage their membership, pay their invoice, things like that. And then, of course, we also have the Full Stack Payments app, which is for the agent. Layered on top of that, we have the web dashboard, right? So an amazing website you log into, the merchant can do whatever they need to do there. And we partnered with SoonMe on this. So we have a full suite of hardware solutions that are going to be coming out with these various stacks that we're going to roll out. So it's a unbelievable solution. But I want to talk to you about, because to me, that's all great. But again, it's almost like, okay, so what, James? Like, yeah, other people have mobile apps. Other people have feature sets, right? I want to go to the next slide and I want to talk to you a minute about the 2 different kinds of stacks that we envision. Now, to be clear, we want to get a lot of feedback from all of you. And I'm going to talk more about that a little bit later, but we want to get your feedback. As we roll this out, we want to do it in the way we're trying to make the point of sale system that is the easiest one to sell. When I talked to Ben about this originally and asked him to come on as the CEO of Stackably to really run this division of the business, after he scaled up CC Storage successfully and has that software experience, I said, Ben, we're going to build the easiest software to sell, right? Because again, the feature set's already there. We've already got all the features. We just need to bring these features to market in a way that's easiest for agents to sell. So there's 2 different kinds of stacks, at least in the way I view it. You have the vertical stack, which is where we're creating vertical specific solutions. So we're going to be rolling out Gym Stack. Dance Stack is actually for dance studios. So we already have a strategic partner there and we're going after dance studios through an ISO. And we're going to be letting the agents have access to that. Imagine going to a dance studio and you literally have a software just for them called Dance Stack, right? Salon Stack, Retail Stack, Auto repair, this one's going to come down the road, probably in 3-4 months, maybe a little longer even, because we're going to do some really deep integrations there, but I'm really excited about that one. But the auto repair stack for auto repair shops, restaurant stack, again, that'll be the last one. We'll probably do that Q1, Q2 of next year, because we want to make sure we have the onboarding right. We want to make sure we get all of that done correctly before we go rolling out a restaurant solution. But again, all of the functionality exists, right? But then there's also going to be the ability for you to just build a custom stack. Go to a business and say, let's figure out what you need. Do you need appointments scheduling? Okay, great. We'll check the box for appointment scheduling. Oh, and you also have a juice bar. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and set up the restaurant point of sale for you as well. And you can just piece together what you need for that business and really customize the solution just for them. So these would be like feature sets that you can put together. We have the payment stack we're rolling out today, inventory stack, appointment stack, which is coming in 2 weeks, by the way, the appointment stack, marketing stack. They have like social media management. We've got social media scheduling, all of that stuff. Finance stack, full connection to QuickBooks, obviously, and e-commerce stack where you can sell things online. So these are like, this represents like, I don't know, 5% of the, what we're going to be building out. But again, these are things that we have on the roadmap to roll out, and they're going to be rolled out very rapidly because again, the features already exist. The only thing we're waiting on to roll each of these out is number one, we have to make sure it's very modular and easy to use for the merchant. So we're focusing on the support aspect of it, making sure we have great training for the merchant, for you. And also, frankly, our team, we need to be trained on it to make sure that everybody in our company is ready to go to support these merchants and give them that high level of support that we always have at our company with any company that we launch, any software business that we do. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So I want to just show you really quickly this last piece. So you might be thinking, okay, James, this sounds great. Where does full stack payments, fit into all this? Well, full stack payments together with Stackably, there's basically 3 components to this that are crucially important. 3 things that we're going to give you that I just they don't exist right now in the market in quite this way. Number 1 is going to be custom features. We've already talked about that, right? We want you to have the ability to customize a software solution with software, hardware, native mobile apps. And again, Ben will show you all that in a minute. Secondly, it's a comprehensive platform. So again, we've got all the different pieces that you need to assemble, to put together to say, hey, I need a solution for this merchant, right? We want to make it very robust and we want to make it very customizable for you, but also very easy to use through the mobile app. But the third thing, and what John will talk about a little bit later as well, is complete control. Okay, complete control. Let me explain what I mean by this. Every hardware and software cost. Okay, now what we're going to show you today is actually totally free. The software is free, the hardware is free if they do at least 5,000 a month in volume. So what Ben is about to show you, there's no cost at all to the payment stack. That part's free. Everybody gets that. But what you build on top of that with the appointment stack or the auto repair stack or whatever, right? There are going to be some software costs and some hardware costs. We're going to try to keep them as low as we can because we do want to make it really easy to sell. But I want to make it very clear. Those costs are going to be Schedule A costs. Okay? If you choose to pass those costs on, that's up to you. We are never going to arbitrarily we're just going to decide to charge your merchant more software fees, or we're just going to decide that your hardware is end of life after a couple of years because we want to hit our quarterly numbers. It's like, no. No, you have complete control. These are your merchants. You are having that relationship with them. We're going to support you. We are going to do everything possible to help you get every single sale that you can possibly get on this platform, but you control the pricing. And that means you control the economic model as well. You want to compete with Square? Go ahead. Give it away for free. Dual pricing built in. Give it away for free. That's fine. That's up to you. There's Schedule A costs, right? You get to control the business model, and that is something that nobody else right now is offering in the industry. So I couldn't be more excited about this, but I want you to actually see it. So I'm going to turn over to Ben here to take a look at that. So Ben, take it away.
All right. So yeah, we'll go through the payment stack. Is what I'm going to show on the presentation today. We do have several different things to show, and James touched on those. We're going to walk through the web portal first, and so I'll kind of go through just a quick overview. Again, I could spend tons of time in this software. It has so much functionality, but I'm going to do very high level on this call, and then we're going to schedule, specific trainings and things where you can go get deep dives into the solutions. So we'll go through the web portal. I'm also going to show some of the hardware and some of the options that we have available today that are already ready to go with SoonMe, and then I'll go through the iOS mobile apps as well. So I'm going to jump over to We'll jump to just the first slide here is going to be the dashboard. Again, a completely customizable dashboard here. It gives you a ton of flexibility as the business owner to display the things that you want to display on your dashboard. This can be customized by the business. And again, at its core, Stackably has a ton of functionality. And so making sure it can be tailored to any business is part of the way that it's been built. So the customizable dashboard will be great for your merchants as far as seeing really quickly the information that's important to them. Going from there, we'll have clients. And so clients are going to be included on the payment stack, the ability to manage your contacts, your customers, your lead flow, all of that built into the software. And it's also going to act as a full CRM. So part of what's coming is going to be pipeline management and workflows and smart lists for marketing. All of this can be built into this CRM functionality. It's completely customizable as well. You can show the columns, the categories, track the data that you want to track on your contacts, remove anything that you don't care about. Again, it's a great solution. It can be very simple. It can be very complex. It's built to support a lot of different functionality. From one click, you can go in, you can send emails, you can call merchants right through the software, you can send texts. All of that is going to be included with the payment stack. So clear communication is one thing that all of the merchants I've ever talked to, they all care about. How can they communicate with their customers better? How can they have an effective communication? And so that's all built into the payment stack, text, email, phone call, and then the system's going to track and log all of that, all of those events on your contacts, so you can find it really quickly and you can see a good flow of your interactions with your customers. One of the other things that we have built in is going to be subscriptions. So recurring invoices, contracts. Again, this has a little bit more customization than just saying, I can set my customer up on a monthly subscription, right? We can give your customer a 12-month contract, an 18-month contract. We can create custom contracts with different billing intervals, complete control over how you want to bill your customers and how you can get them to agree to digital contracts. So digital contracts, click to agree, along with the DocuSign that's built into the software, and that's going to be included on the payment stack. So if you need to send out a subscription, but you want to verify that that customer has agreed to the terms of that subscription, that is built into this platform. You send them a notification after you've created their subscription, or they can sign up right from your website. All of that is going to be supported in the initial launch with Payment Stack. Business reporting. There's going to be a complete report dashboard. Completely, again, you can build your own reports. You can show the reports you care about. It can be as basic or as complex as you want. Finance reports, customer reports, subscription reporting, all of that is built into the software and can be set up very quickly and very easily by the business owner. And then again, we'll have help documentation and all that to build out their reporting as well. One of the really cool things is that we are actually including with Payment Stack is a QuickBooks online integration. And so when you go to your finance tab, you'll see right there the very first thing that they can do is they can hook up to QuickBooks. And so we're going to try and make sure that is a streamlined, easy flow for your merchant to make sure they're getting connected to QuickBooks and make sure all their finance reporting is where they want it, which in most cases we see is going to be within QuickBooks. But we'll also have a full suite of reporting and things built out for the finances as well. Invoicing. Very easy in the system to create invoicing. You can create an invoice. You can send the invoice off for payment. You can print the invoice and get a payment for the invoice. They can pay through ACH. They can pay through card. If you sent that, via email, or you can take a payment right through the invoice by just clicking pay and then recording a cash or check payment along with the invoice. One of the really cool things about our invoicing system is actually, and everything that's built into the system is dual pricing. So the differential pricing shows up on invoicing. We actually have the ability to show 3 prices if you want. It's not just dual pricing. You can show cash, card, and ACH. You can set your own multipliers for those. And so as you're selling it, you're going to sell it on whatever markup you want that. We're going to set that up for the merchant, and it's going to be built in from day one. They don't have to do anything for that. It's going to show up on their invoices. It's going to show up on their web store for their online shop. I'll show you that in 1 minute. It's going to show up on their point of sale system. So across the system, everywhere that prices are displayed, you're going to see that compliant differential pricing built right in. This is just a quick preview of the online store. So web store is included with Payment Stack. You can go in, they can add their products. As they add products, all of these products are going to live at a URL that they can connect to their website at a subdomain of Stackably for the merchant. And so they can have a web store that links directly to their website without having to go in and rebuild an e-commerce site or do anything like that. It's completely built into the software. As they add products, they can choose if they show up in the web store. If they want to make them available online, it's one click of a button. It's not building a whole new website and integrating e-commerce e-commerce. It is completely built into the software with Payment Stack. During the online checkout process here, you can see again, dual pricing built in. Two prices are going to display, and they can choose whether they want to show cash card, ACH card. For online transactions, we would normally show ACH and card, but again, we do have the flexibility to cover all of those, payment methods. And then we'll get to devices here. And so again, just walking through some of the stuff really quickly. Again, I know I don't have enough time to spend a lot of time on each of these features, and I'm going really quick. But I'm going to show over here, I have a T3 Pro Max. And so this is the full point of sale system that we're going to include. It is touchscreen. It can be hooked up with a customer facing display. So you can attach a second display onto the back of the device. And so that's perfect for, whenever you get to adding in your appointment scheduling or somebody that needs check-in, you can have a check-in customer facing display on this device that's running at all times. People can come self-check-in if you're running anything, any appointments, anything like that needs that. You can also do tips and all that on the customer facing display as well. The other device here that I have is going to just be the P3H. This device here, you can run EMV, NFC. It is included with the payment stack. So this is the terminal that we're going to deploy whenever you sell a business. They get that terminal included with the merchant application. I'm going to go ahead and slide this in. Can you turn me to the overhead cam here? So this is the point of sale device, the T3. And I'm just going to really quickly, again, walk through whenever you are on the terminal here, the employee can clock in or punch in. That way you can track who is running what payments, who's running what orders. They can quickly add items into their cart. We can do things like, we can pretty much handle markets, anything that has weights. You can hook a scale up to this. You can sell stuff by weighted options. You can sell by quantities. All of that can be put in here. You can quickly go into your checkout. You can run cash and you can complete transactions. Very quick, very seamless to run for a point of sale system. One of the other things that's really cool that's built into this, I can go into my memberships. And again, this just goes to show some of the functionality that's coming down the line. Most people probably wouldn't need this functionality with Payment Stack. But I can go in and I can actually go and I can click on any of my memberships and I can pull up the ability for my customer to start filling out a membership or for a contract. And I can just flip the screen over and then they can complete it on their end, or I can hook it up to the dual customer facing display and they can have their memberships and all that run right through the point of sale system. So very functional piece of equipment. And we're going to continue to add more functionality to that device and to that service as we add additional stacks to the system. The next one here I'll go over. Let me pull this one up here. This is going to be just a quick overview of the P3. So from here, again, basic point of sale functionality. I can add items to my cart. As I add items into the cart, I can go to my checkout. I can run transactions. I can run through cash, check, ACH. Would be done on the web portal, but I could run card transactions through this device as well. All I simply do is hit pay, go into here. I can run tips. I can split checks, all of that directly from this device. And again, with this device, I also still will get the ability to run in here and I can go and I can also grab one of my member URLs and I could share this right from the device and I could send a message to one of my customers with a link where they could go and sign up for some other product or offer that I have. So again, a lot of functionality coming from just this small terminal. And again, it is a very simple point of sale system that they can use at their business. I'm going to jump into the iOS apps now briefly. Whenever the customer, this is going to be the Connect app. So this is the app that the customer, the end user would log into. If you've sold multiple businesses in your area and the customer belongs to multiple accounts, they could actually log into one Stackably account and they would be able to pick and choose from whichever business they want to attend or go to next. They could have, their dining in or, their restaurant apps would be in there. Their retail apps could be in there. Their gym membership can be in here. All of these different things where they can sign in at one app and then jump across different accounts to do different things with different merchants. So again, a ton of functionality, and it's going to really allow you to grow your market and with the networking capabilities that are here. So we'll go into this account here. And as it loads in, again, I'd have the ability to check in. I could show that I stopped at a business. I can see rewards. I can also jump through a feed. And so the business will have a complete community feel where customers and the owner can control all the things that happen through the app, but he can give the customers the ability to go in and make posts about the business. You can respond. You can have comments whenever they're going to release a new, a new item. They can release it in the community. Community members can then comment on that item, react, all of those things. So a lot of cool stuff there as far as networking with your customers. And so a lot of the functionality that we have that's built into this is going to cross, across multiple verticals. And so it's going to be really nice that they'll have that functionality to be able to see these things. From here, they'll also have the ability to go into an online shop. And I do apologize if it loads just a little bit slow. I have a bunch of different devices hooked to my network here right now. From here, you'll be able to see the shop. So you can build out, again, with your web store, all of the items that you want to include in your online shop can be purchased through your app. The customers, when they log into the app, they can request an item for pickup or delivery. Again, you control the options that show up for them. They can go through, they can see, and again, looking here, I can see compliant dole pricing across all of my items, and they can load in items, pictures of items, and then it has a complete cart option where they can go right through, they can process card or ACH through the mobile app. And so the customers can have a really good experience as far as shopping online through your app. It does throw all of the orders into the point of sale orders list. And I can show you that whenever we do a deeper dive into the software and how that works. So that would just be a quick overview. Again, from here as well, customers could come in here and they could see their contracts. So if I go to my contracts here, I can see here, this customer's on the Jelly of the Month Club. He's excited about Christmas and getting ready for that. So I can see that he's on there. I can see payment details for that subscription, all of those things. The customer can kind of manage all of that from the app. From the admin side of the app, and so this is where the owners would go and sign in. They'll, again, have access to all of the features that they have in the web version. They can go into their shop, for example, and whenever they load into shop, they can manage their products. So I can go in here, I can edit my prices, I could run discounts or run coupons or any type of specials that I want to do from here. I can view all of my orders. I can also go through and add more memberships, change my memberships, tons of functionality just from the app here that they can do without even ever having to sign into the device. They can also go to the community. They can manage their community from here. They can direct message customers. They can do push notifications to all of their customers. So anybody that has the app and they want to send out something special, they can just create a push notification from the app and send it to all of their customers' devices. From here, they can also go into their contacts. They could go into the clients, for example, and they can go right into here. I can click on, with one click, I can open this up. I can text, email, call. I can also go in and log any activity that customer, any interaction that I had with that customer directly through the app. So again, I'll kind of just stop on those couple things there. You can kind of see it has a ton of functionality though inside the app. There's a lot of different options that they're going to have, and you can really manage your entire business from the app, which is what a lot of people ask for because a lot of people don't have the time or the availability to log in on the web version all the time, but the app gives them a ton of that functionality. So that's just kind of a quick overview of some of the different things. You can see here as well, we do have like the P3 mix that is going to be available with, where needed for like side orders or taking it around a store, anything like that. We're going to have a bunch of really cool hardware options with these stacks as well. So, all right, James, with that, I'll kick it back over to you.
All right. I have seen that demo so many times and I still get a little overwhelmed when I see it again. Cause it's like, what in the world? So much. And the crazy thing is like, what you just saw is like, I don't know, maybe 5% of the functionality that already exists. Again, we're not rolling all of it out right now, but that's what exists. So one thing I did want to clarify from what Ben was saying. So the P3H, that, smart terminal, kind of reminds me actually a point in the old days there, but that smart terminal, that is the device that we're giving away for free. And then the software that Ben showed you, most of what he showed you is part of that payment stack that's free. And again, we'll have a lot more detail to go into at that. But it is an amazing solution. And again, our goal was to give you something to be truly competitive with Square, to where you can go in there and say, hey, I can give you the software for free. And it's not this like free software that doesn't do anything. It's legitimately free software that actually does a lot of really, really cool things, right? So that was the idea. Now, I want to say real quick before I turn over to John. John's going to talk about the full stack payment side of things, but I want to make it clear. The whole purpose of this event and the reason I promoted it so much is I'm looking for some agents. I want some people that are going to be committed. You see the complexity there, but you also probably see the opportunity. I'm looking for agents that are going to want to dig in and say, okay, we're going to give you feedback. We're going to go sell this thing. We're going to work with you on this and give us feedback. And my promise to you is this: The compensation is competitive. John's going to show you that. It's very competitive, good compensation, but the support and the technology is going to blow away the competition. Okay. The support we are going to give you, I have people like standing by tomorrow morning. If you're like, hey, I have a merchant, but they need to see a demo of this thing. No problem. We got you covered. We will do a demo. We'll talk to the merchant while you're still learning the software. Cause I know you don't know it. You're like watching this little demo and you're like, oh, wow, this looks awesome, but you're not ready to present it. I get it, right? Work with us on it. We'll do demos for you. We'll do whatever you need us to do. When it comes to your merchant, we are going to go above and beyond and then some. Like we're going to do everything that it takes to get that merchant account if we feel like it's a good fit. Now, if it's not a good fit or like, hey, it's going to be a good fit in a month, but we don't have that feature rolled out yet, we're going to be honest and we're going to be like, no, we can't do that one, right? And just bear with us because again, this is disruptive innovation. You start small, you start lower end, and then you rapidly scale up. That's exactly what we're going to do. 6 months from now, the solution that you see versus what you just saw is going to be crazy. Like the functionality is unbelievable, but it's going to take time as we scale up and we develop our support team and scale up our company as well. But we're looking for agents that are truly committed, that want to work with us. And in exchange for that, we're going to give you a compensation plan and a technology that is the likes of which I don't think any of you have ever seen before. To show you that part of it, I'm actually going to turn it over to John Shirey, CEO at Full Stack Payments.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and share my phone, which my phone's been sharing the whole time. So I saw Ben had to actually type in my my password for my phone and everything like that. That's always nice. All right, so here we go. There's my phone. So what I'm gonna do is walk you through some of the new features that we've released recently with Full Stack Payments. It is just mind blowing some of the stuff that we have in here. I'm not gonna take too much time, but you definitely want to check this out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on Full Stack Payments here. And right now I'm going to start off by just going to my portfolio screen and just talking just for a second about these features. So right here on my screen, I can see like my total processing volume across all of my merchants combined right here at the top, which is really, really cool. But below that, I can see my active merchants. Some of the features that we're releasing here in the next couple of weeks have been ones that were requested from some of our agents that have sold live merchants in the past, where maybe a merchant stopped processing, but they didn't even realize it for a few days or something like that, or they didn't realize it till their next residual report came out and it's like, oh my word, my merchant stopped processing. What in the world happened? So here you're going to be able to see like how much sales volume your merchants processed yesterday, which is just really, really cool. I really wanted to get this to where you as an agent, you're going to want to come in here every single day and kind of look at some of these things. It's like, oh, I have this big company LLC. They processed $16,000 yesterday. I can go ahead and click on that and I can see, what they processed in the last 7 days versus the last 30 days and things like that. I also have the merchant's contact information, right there as well, in case I want to give them a call or figure out, who I should contact if there's an issue or anything like that. So really cool. Very, very soon, we're going to do push notifications for like, hey, there's a delay in your merchant stop processing for the last 24 hours, which is abnormal for your account and things like that. So we've working with our developer on that already as we speak. Then next below that, I'm just going to touch on this briefly because I'm actually going to show you how to create a merchant application right from your phone if you're an agent. But you can see here I have a whole application section in the Full Stack app now where I can see that I created this merchant application for John's Business LLC. It's 97% complete, but it's not completed. Why didn't it get submitted to underwriting? What's going on? I'm going to show you how we can dive in and take care of this for our merchant. Versus, I can see that I have companies in here that have already been approved. I can also see companies that are in the underwriting process and take a deep dive into that as well. Then right underneath that, we have a separate section for appointments. So appointments has been a huge part of Full Stack Payments in general, where some of our ISVs that we're working with, you can schedule them appointments to demo the software and things like that. That's still relevant. And so you can see your appointments. You can take a deep dive into the appointment that you submitted. Real quick, one thing I'll say, we get a ton of questions about this, but you can go into your account settings and enable like push notifications to make sure you get note updates from the ISVs on demos that you submitted and things like that. You can do all of that kind of stuff from the account. Now, what I want to transition to is I'm going to click on the browse section in my phone. Because I want to spend some time talking about this new process of you as the agent having total control, which James referenced earlier. So what that means is Stackably is not necessarily a solution where you have to just schedule a demo and then you're done. Most of the top agents that we work with, a lot of times they want more control. They want to be able to sign the merchant up for processing payments. They want to choose their pricing, for the merchant. They don't want to leave that in the hands of somebody else. They want to choose whether or not they want to charge monthly fees. They want to help the merchant with the merchant application. All of these things, we've solved them all, and I'm going to show you that now. So I'm going to click on Stackably. Then there's just going to be some information here about Stackably, and you're going to see here I have an orange button that says Start Application. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, for me as the agent, I have a couple of things that I need to decide. Maybe I'm working with, I'm just going to use the merchant name for a live demo. My first question that I'm going to answer for myself is, what am I selling this merchant? Am I selling them dual pricing? Am I selling them flat rate pricing like Square or Stripe or something like that? Am I selling them Interchange Plus? We support that as well. That's fine. So I'm going to choose my type. And you're going to see, I'm just going to click on flat rate just for an example to show you how this changes when you click on different payment types or pricing types. For flat rate, obviously, you're going to want to be able to adjust your flat rate, per item versus your percentage and things like that. And then also your monthly fees. But if I choose, dual pricing at 3.5%, now I'm not going to be able to adjust my percentage because we already have that hard coded, but I can still choose my monthly fees and things like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the merchant's email. So for me, I'm going to type in my personal email for this live demo. And then I'm going to put in the company name, and I'm just going to call this Live Liver Event. So I'm going to call this Live Event. If I can type, perfect. Now I'm going to choose my MCC code. So you can see a list of MCC codes. If you're new to the industry, no problem. You can go ahead and search. So maybe I'm just going to search for food and I don't know which one to pick. And I can go ahead and select that MCC code. And you can see that that's $54.99 for miscellaneous food services. So we tried to make that easy for the agent as well. If you don't know, you can guess. We can adjust that once the application gets submitted. All right, this is definitely a part that I'm just so excited to talk about because when James references full control for you, the agent, I personally don't know anybody else that has ever done what I'm about ready to show you, which is now it's time for you as the agent to choose your compensation plan. What does that mean? Choose my compensation plan? It actually means what I'm describing. So when I click on choose compensation plan, you're actually going to see you have multiple choices. Me as the agent, I could choose to put this merchant and receive a 50% residual split with a $400 upfront bonus. I could choose a 70% residual split with a $200 upfront bonus. I could choose an 80% residual split with no bonus. And you can do that on a per merchant basis. And I can already tell probably what you're thinking is, well, if I'm selling a $150,000 a month, auto repair shop or something like that, or pizza shop or something, I'm probably going to choose 80% because I want that higher residual. But if I'm selling a smaller, merchant that's doing $10,000 a month, maybe I need some more money this month, so I'm going to take some upfront bonus money. That's okay. We're actually encouraging that, and we want to give you that flexibility. I've always struggled with agents reaching out and they're like, I'm on this residual split and I'm trying to get to this residual split. And it's like, well, that might make sense for XYZ merchant, but for ABC merchant, that might not even be the best plan for you. So we're going to let you do this per merchant. Okay. So what that means is for this demo, I'm going to choose my 70% residual split. You're going to see some details about the Schedule A cost for this particular hardware. So for example, in here, you can see that we have a $15 a month hardware fee and a $3 a month fee for like the gateway monthly fee. Now, I want to point your attention to the note there where it says any merchant processing over $5,000 in volume, we are actually going to waive that Schedule A cost for you, the agent. What does that mean? Okay, that means that if this merchant's doing $10,000 a month, I can go ahead and agree to that. By default, I have a Stackably $15 a month hardware fee on the application, but I can go ahead and as the agent, I'm going to say, no, I'm just going to waive that. I don't want my merchant paying that fee. That's fine. But we're also going to waive it for you, the agent. So James made a post in the Facebook group and a couple people commented that says, hey, nothing is free. That's correct. Somebody is always covering that cost. And I want to make it 100% clear that when you, the agent, are placing a merchant that does decent volume, over $5,000 a month, on the first device, on the first terminal, Full Stack Payments is going to eat that hardware cost and eat that software cost for that merchant. So if you want to still charge for it, no problem. Maybe you want to charge $20 a month. Then you're going to make residual on that cost. So you can still make extra residual there. Maybe you want to zero out the three. By the way, these defaults that you see on my screen, these are just our default Schedule A costs. So our monthly PCI fee, for example, is $325. Well, if you're like, well, I don't want to put that on there, I can just zero that out. Maybe I want to change my regular account on file fee and software fee, and I want to just charge the merchant, $20 all in and nothing else. We can do that, and we can just hit send application. All right. So now I actually just submitted or sent the merchant an application from my phone, which is pretty cool. Okay. However, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my portfolio, and you can already see my app updated. So in my portfolio here, view, now I can see that I created a new merchant application for a merchant called Live Event. Okay. And you can see that it's 0% complete. One of the things that Full Stack Payments did that we're really proud of is we built our own application flow. We mainly did that for ISVs. So a lot of times when ISVs are boarding merchants, we're trying to make it as easy as possible for them to be able to board merchants and still just give them a seamless experience. Help out with underwriting, make it super easy, only collect the data we need to get the deal approved, not spend a lot of extra time getting documents maybe that we don't need. And so all of this functionality that I'm going to show you has been built out already, but I want to show you what it looks like. So if I click on this Live Event merchant, I'm going to actually be able to click Edit Application. This is for you specifically, the agent that is passionate about helping the merchant get set up, helping them get their application submitted. You don't want deals to get left on the wayside of like merchants are like not sure how to complete a merchant app. And so we're going to let you help with this process. I can hit Edit Application. It's going to take me right into this merchant's unique application, and you can actually pre-fill this for the merchant. So when you're looking at my screen now, you can see that we're going to have a section where the merchant's going to verify their business, whether or not they're an LLC, everything like that. Then it's going to take them to their ownership details. Are there multiple owners? Is this a single owner? And things like that. So that's going to be displayed next. Then we're going to collect their bank info. Obviously, that is on every merchant application. You can assist with them with this as well, or maybe you can get all the other information as the agent, but you are going to rely on the merchant to fill this section out. That's fine too. When you send in this merchant application, if you've pre-filled any of this for them, when the merchant comes into this application, all of that stuff that you filled out for them is already going to be there. And so they might have to put in things like their bank info and then literally just click to sign. Okay. Next would be a section to describe your customers. Obviously, this is important. We need to know how much in-person volume they're doing versus card not present versus everything like that. And then the last section is just a review and finish option where you can update or you can upload their voided check. They can upload their driver's license so we can get the deal approved maybe a little easier. It's not always needed, but a lot of times the more stuff we can collect, sometimes the easier it is to get that merchant approved. So that's how our application flow is built. Probably a lot of you on this event have never seen that. We're super excited about the way it presents in the app versus, on web for the or on a computer for the merchant and everything there. So now what I'm going to do is I want to reference this John's Business LLC because imagine you're an agent, you're having a conversation with the merchant, and the merchant says, look, I'm ready to get signed up. Obviously, I can't fill out the merchant application yet. I also am not comfortable giving you my banking info, but send me the merchant application. I'm going to fill it out tonight. I also need my business partner involved as well. And you, the agent, say, no problem. I'm going to send you the merchant application. Well, guess what? We already did that on the live test demo. Okay. The live event demo. But tomorrow you come back in and you see that business is 97% completed with their merchant app. And you're thinking, I wonder what happened. Like, where did they get held up? Why didn't they get it submitted? What I can do now is I'm going to click on John's Business LLC. I'm going to hit edit application. And for me, I'm going to go to the review screen right at the end. And I'm going to see where this merchant got held up and what they didn't complete. So I can see here that they had an error with their company information, their contact information, and their principal information. Like, I wonder what they messed up. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, what did they mess up on their company information? It looks like their legal address and phone must be 10 digits. Oh my word, I have John Doe's phone number. Like, let me look at this real quick. I'm going to hit the edit option. I'm going to see their legal address phone must be 10 digits. What are we talking about? Oh my word, I just need to add a 2 to the end of their phone number. Merchants are often very, very smart and often, can't figure out how to use technology, can't figure out how to submit a merchant application. So we can do that for them. Hit done, hit continue, or we can go back and we can look at the next thing, which would be, let's look at the next error message real quick. Website must be a valid domain. Well, what did they do wrong here? Oh, they entered JSS@gmail.com. they entered their email for their website. Obviously, these are things we deal with all the time in merchant services, trying to get merchants approved. And now you have the ability to come in here, update those things for the merchant and say, hey, this application's ready to go. All you have to do as the business owner is log back in and click to agree to the changes that were made. So I was really, really excited to show some of these updates. Shout out to our team and our dev team on the updates that they've been making to this full stack app experience. I mean, really, really, I'm just hoping that this is something that you're going to just constantly be coming into, checking your merchant's volume by day, looking at like where are people held up in your application processes and things like that. So really, really excited about some of the features that we just released with full stack payments.
Awesome. All right. I don't know about you, but that was a lot of information between all the three things there. Whew, that was a lot, Ben. So, hey, here's what we're going to do. Question and answer time. Type out your questions. Now, I know we're coming up on 5 o'clock in a minute. I'm going to ask you to do two things really quick and just first type out your questions. That's fine. I'm going to ask you to do two things. Then we're going to go to the Q&A. All right. So number one, if you are interested in Stackably, let me explain what you're going to do next and what we're going to do for you. If you want to get some marketing materials and you want to get a demo account, so you want marketing materials and you want a demo account. If you're an agent, this program is not available for ISOs right now. This program is for individual agents. So if you're an agent, you want to take advantage of this program and you want marketing materials and you want a demo account, all you're going to do is put the word interested over in the chat for me. Okay. So over in the chat, just put the word interested real quick, type that out. And what we're going to do is Nick from our team who heads up agent recruiting and onboarding, he is going to reach out, schedule a call with you. He's going to talk to you for a little bit, make sure you have your questions answered, answer any concerns you might have. And then he is going to go ahead and get your physical address, your mailing address, so we can mail you some trifold brochures. And also so that we can work with you to get you your demo account set up. Ben, tell them what account they're going to get with their demo account. Like what's it going to be?
So they'll get access to the admin app. So the Stackably admin app that I showed just briefly on the demo there that I did, you'll have access to that. So you can go in, click around, get a little bit more familiarized with, how the layout is, where everything's at. We're going to do a couple other things as well, though, is inside Full Stack Payments, we're also going to be putting the exact slide deck that I went through, along with an iOS slide deck. So that way you can download that and present that to the merchant as well. If you're not wanting to go out and actually do a demo,
do a live demo or whatever
with the account,
right.
But yeah, for sure. You'll get access to the admin app. That way you can go in there and get familiar with the software.
And just to clarify too, this Stackably admin app, they have all the admin features, the reporting and all that, but it also does have the point of sale.
Correct. Yes. So there actually is a point of sale option when you go into Shop Plus. And again, when we send this out, we'll send out a little video as well. So that way the agents can kind of get familiar with it without being lost when they first sign in. But yeah, you can go into the shop, you can click on the point of sale and it gives you a virtual point of sale option. So you can see exactly how everything would display on a point of sale device. And
it will be available on both iPad and iPhone, as well as Android tablets. So, I mean, any Android, any Apple device, this is available. You don't need to buy some expensive hardware to demo this. It's just whatever device you're using, you can demo it. You can put it on your iPad and on your phone if you want to show both screens, whatever you want to do. That's the way you're going to demo it. And so that'll be really, really nice. Thank you for those of you that put interested. I see a bunch of you are interested. That's fantastic. Nick's going to follow up. If you want to get ahead of the line, because obviously there's like a lot of people on the event, you could go ahead and shortcut the line a little bit and go to ccsalespro.com/agent. So it's ccsalespro.com/agent. That will take you directly to the form to fill out. And again, if you don't do that, Nick will get to you after, but he's going to do those form submissions first. So if you want to be first in line to get your demo account and get your marketing materials, head over to ccsalespro.com/agent, and that'll redirect you to a form that you can fill out. And again, that will go right to Nick. Nick will set up a call with you and talk to you about all of that. John, I think I got everything. I don't know if I missed anything there, but again, we have like 5 minutes. We're going to go over that by quite a bit. We are going to hang out and answer your questions for a little while. For those of you that are like, hey, I gotta jump, that's fine. Just make sure you go to ccsalespro.com/agent before you do and fill out the form if you're interested, and we will be following up with you. John, what kind of questions we got?
Before I jump into the Q&As, I also wanted to highlight, we do have like marketing material that we're going to be sending the agents that are interested, which you touched on. And then the other thing is we do have we have like a Stackably polo. As soon as an agent places their first deal with us, and Stackably, we're going to actually send them a polo so they have some Stackably swag. And me and James kind of fought about that a little bit. James was kind of...
I lost.
James was kind of saying maybe we should just give one to everybody. I'm just like, I want to get a deal first before we give them a free polo. But we'll probably change that at some point because we
well, basically, John convinced me that coffee is for closers, right? If any of you seen that movie, so we're like, in our case, polos are for closers. Right. So that's where we landed on that. But yeah, we will send you the marketing materials right off the bat along with the demo account, so you can have that. So
all right. So the first question I love, it is an ACH question, and the question is from Janice saying, how do we set the merchant up for ACH? Which was a great question because it's
I was wanting to talk about this
prop for Stackably.
Yeah, so I'm going to cover that one because I was dying to talk about it. We did like a whole other event for ACH. So let me tell you how you sign a merchant up for ACH. Are you ready? Because it's going to blow you away. You don't. You click a box that says they want ACH and they get ACH. That's it. In fact, all of the merchants that get set up in our system by default have ACH enabled. That's how you set up ACH. So let me explain how it works. We have a custom deal with an ACH provider that is pretty crazy. And the way this deal works is the merchant goes through traditional underwriting. So it's still traditional underwriting that all of you are used to right now. Down the road, we hope to do some PayFac-like things there as well. We've done some of it, but we have a lot of work to do there. Again, we're very competitive with everybody else in the industry, but I want to be like, blow everybody away. But normal underwriting. But once they get approved for card processing, our ACH vendor automatically approves them for ACH processing. So that's it. The Schedule A cost for ACH, I'm not going to cover right now. They're on the Schedule A, but when you see them, they are ridiculously low. Remember that when you get some merchants where we believe, hey, there's actually a higher risk component with that ACH, there will be some additional basis point costs, like traditional. So most of you are used to traditional ACH where it's like 50 basis points and 25 cents. Our ACH cost is very, very, very much lower than that. But again, they're automatically signed up for it. It's that easy. Like literally every single merchant, and am I saying that right, John? Everybody that signs up gets ACH.
Yeah, by default, everybody that is activated on the platform through Stackably automatically gets set up.
So we have a unique setup where basically there's no cost, there's no like monthly per merchant cost for ACH. So we're able to just set everybody up for it. And that way, because the issue we had was we know a lot of merchants are going to use ACH, but the problem is if they randomly go into the dashboard and click on an invoice and they want to send an invoice and they want ACH enabled, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, you don't have that yet. And it's like, well, that's kind of stupid. So we're just like, they're enabled for ACH. Okay. So that's how ACH works.
I had a couple questions about terminal delivery and things like that. And I'll just touch base on this here real quick, because I will say that we actually have already implemented a tracking system with FedEx. So you as the agent are going to be able to get notified when the terminal gets shipped that you have just sold the merchant. And then also like when that terminal gets delivered. And then the last event that we did where we kind of rolled out that functionality just in like a beta program, we got a lot of questions about it. Agents saying like, hey, where can the terminal be shipped? Can it be shipped to the house, to my house instead of the merchant? And so we can accommodate some of those things per request. We have the ability to kind of do that on a case-by-case basis for individual agents. So if you have questions about that, definitely let us know. So the agents that we have some people asking about demo accounts. So talk about that again, James. So what does the agent get? They actually get their own account where they can demo the software themselves.
Go ahead, man. You take that.
Yeah. So we have an agent. We're going to have an agent account where agents can log into and go through the admin app. And again, it's going to have all of the features today that are included in the payment stack. So if you're not sure what you're selling when you walk in, you can go into your demo app and you can look at all the features that are there. Those are all included with the payment stack. Then as we add additional stacks and additional functionality, we'll build that out in a way where you'll be able to see that and see that it's clearly a different stack and it's a different option. But for now, when you log in, everything that you see is included in just the payment stack.
And one thing too, I want to like sidestep for just a minute and say one like negative thing, if I could, for just a second. So like understand, like for those of you out there, I mean, this system is battle tested with before we bought our version of it, and then we've worked on it a lot. If you're the agent that like everything has to be absolutely perfect for you and there can be no issues, don't sell Stackably yet, because you're going to have some issues here and there. It's a software solution that's complex. When you get your demo account, as an example, we don't have it set up to run a transaction because it's in demo. We don't have like a test card number yet. So again, this is new. We have spent an enormous amount of money and have hired a ton of people to support this solution. But there's going to be hiccups along the way. What we're going to do is we are committed to having that support team to work with you, to work with your merchant, and your merchant's going to have an amazing, like a fantastic experience, but things are going to go wrong. You're going to have things that are going to break or an issue here and there, and we're going to deal with those and take care of it. But again, as you've just seen, this is a lot of technology that we're rolling out. And it's frankly, it's always a little scary when you're rolling out a technology, even though again, it's not new, it's been battle tested with lots of merchants, but for Stackably, it's a new instance. And so there's going to be some things we have to work through. And so just be prepared for that as well. So.
Definitely a lot of questions around training for the agent. Obviously, as the agent is going to be responsible a lot of times for like making the sale and a lot of times demoing the software themselves, or they're going to want to do that. Right. James, talk a little bit about what you're going to do for training. And then I also want to kick that back to me because I want to say, give everybody an update on what we're doing with full stack payments training as well.
Yeah. If only we had a company that really specialized in training merchant salespeople to help us out. Oh, who could we go with? Yeah. So like, listen, everybody, I've made training for the last 15 years. The best training that I have ever made is going to be what is going to roll out in the next 30 days, which is for Stackably. Obviously, like I own the business. Okay. So we're going to be making incredible product demos. We're going to be making incredible training. I'm going to be training on how to sell it. Ben's going to be training you on how to, how it sets up. But like all the training stuff is going to be there. But again, like I just said a minute ago, this is new for us. So, give us a little time, but we are going to roll this out. And in the meantime, we have people in the building here who know the system inside and out. They can do demos. They can answer questions for merchants. They can remote log in, help the merchant set it up. Like we can do all of that stuff here, but again, over time, we're going to be adding so much more. Even in the next coming weeks, you're going to see all kinds of new training and things like that. So, what do you got, John?
And then to piggyback off of that, so what we're doing on the full stack payment side, you're going to everybody that has at least downloaded the full stack payments app, you're going to be seeing a notification that we have a live training session every Monday at 11 o'clock Eastern time. So it'd be 8 o'clock a.m. for Pacific time. But we're going to take an hour every week on Mondays to just do a little demo of Stackably. And that'll also give us the ability to highlight new features that we're releasing, different verticals, obviously, that we're going to be releasing and things like that. So I'm really excited to do that with multiple people on our team. Some of them, some of them are, you don't yet, you don't know, but you'll meet them on Monday. So I'll highlight that as well.
Cool.
So a couple questions on pricing. So Doug specifically asked what's the basic pricing, and then how do they know what amount to charge? So I didn't probably highlight that well enough in the limited time that I had on to share my screen. But by default, I have the hardware costs and the monthly fees set to the Schedule A cost. So if you go into the app and you choose, dual pricing and you see the monthly fees there, you can adjust those to whatever you want, but those are the basic Schedule A costs. Same for Interchange Plus. So you can go through and update, how much you want to charge, 50 basis points and 10 cents or 20 basis points and 20 cents. You can do all those customizations. But by default, you're going to see the Schedule A costs for the monthly fee. So I wanted to point that out.
Cool.
Let's see. So what about setup time? So what do we think talk about a little bit, somebody has somebody ready to go. They're like, hey, Stackably a great fit. What are we doing with setup? How long does it take to get a merchant activated? How get the terminal shipped, everything like that?
Sure. Yeah. So the setup time will vary, again, based on the complexity of the setup that's required. So if they have, a large product list and they need us to put in a bunch of products for the web store, or if they have existing subscriptions and they're charging recurring invoicing already and they want their payment methods, to transfer from whoever they're running those through over to Stackably, we can support that. However, that takes a lot longer than next day setup. So if it's a simple merchant and you're just plugging in a terminal and they need access to the software and there's not a whole lot of setup there, we'll have that next day. We can have the terminal set up and shipped out to them. With the more complex setups, card migrations, things like that, it could take up to 30 days to set up a merchant like that.
Yeah, and I feel like it always ends up, I think the commitment that we make, and we've always done this with CC Storage, it's like the merchant's not going to be waiting on us. So the issue is going to be, we're always waiting on the merchant. So if the merchant is like, oh, we need a card migration, well, then we're waiting on their gateway. If they're like, oh, I have products, usually they haven't sent them to us yet. So, you're not going to be waiting on us very long. I mean, again, like Ben said, if it's really complex, we need to import a bunch of items, that might take us a few days, but, work with your merchant. And again, the beauty is we're trying to make this mobile app so streamlined that you as the agent have complete control and you're in the loop on what's happening. Like you're going to get to the point where the system pretty well. It is a very robust system, but once you get in there, you can figure it out pretty well. You may just run out there and be like, oh man, they need to import some items, and you might just use the import tool and pull them in yourself, right? Or we can do it, right? So we're willing to work with you on that. There's no difference in compensation depending on the way you sell it. We're here to support you. We want to get merchant accounts. So
this event is recorded, by the way. A lot of people asking that. So we are going to send the replay out as soon as we get a chance to get that downloaded and edited and things like that. So
hey, one thing, John, I just remembered that I wanted to say really quick too. I just forgot. So when Ben was showing all these extra hardware options, just to clarify, tell me if I'm wrong, we're not shipping any of those tomorrow.
Correct.
Just the P3H.
Just the P3H. Okay. The P3H is ready to go today.
Right.
The T3 Again, we just have a couple more connections we're making with the additional hardware, but by the end of next week, all of that should be ready
and again, to be clear, the T3 costs like, I don't know, quite a bit more than the P3H.
Yeah.
So there's a much higher monthly cost, but it's the same concept. You'll have a Schedule A cost to say, hey, the P3H is going to be, I don't even want to say an amount because I have no idea, but it's going to be X amount per month. And then again, if you decide to eat that, because it's like, hey, it's a big account, I'm putting them on dual pricing at 4%, I'm going to make a fortune on it. That's up to you. You have complete control. Or by default, the merchant app is going to like show that it's passed through at cost, and then you can do whatever you want with it. So just wanted to clarify that so everybody knew which devices we're talking about. So
Right.
Yep. And one thing I'll clarify is this is not set up as a regular ISV in the app where you're agreeing to a compensation plan.
Right.
A lot of questions about the compensation plan. So like with full stack payments, we have a Schedule A that's in your partner agreement. So if you click on the account and go to the full stack payments agreement, you'll actually see the standard Schedule A costs. Then when you go into Stackably and you click on a compensation plan, whether it's 50% or 80% or whatever one you choose, you'll see whatever additional Schedule A costs are relevant, for that specific plan.
yeah, but I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong here, John. I mean, there's no, for what we just showed, I mean, there is no software cost. There's no Schedule A cost. You can charge, but I mean, if you want to, but there is no cost. Yeah. The hardware, there's a $15 cost for each P3H that you want to deploy. The first one is free if they do 5,000 or more.
Right.
And the only additional Schedule A cost I'm aware of is the $3 that we added for the gateway, which is pretty cheap for a gateway cost, but there's $3 for the gateway. That's it. Everything else is like just I mean, it's a Schedule A that all of you would be impressed with. It's not like any of you are going to go in the Schedule A and be like, oh, there's where they're making their money. It's like, no, it is a super competitive Schedule A. There's an extra $3 because we wanted to enable gateway functionality for every merchant. And that's important. Like you can sell them just a terminal. That's fine, but they're going to have the gateway option. Like they're going to have the dashboard. They're going to be able to send invoices. They're going to be able to connect to QuickBooks. Like we are not going to sell crappy solutions to merchants. So if you were planning to do that, you go right ahead, but we're going to give them an amazing solution, even though you tried to sell them a crappy one. So
ACH is also part of that.
ACH is part of, it's part of the $3. Like it's all included in there. And so when you go sell a merchant, they're getting everything. They're getting access to everything you just saw, whether you like want them to or not. As far as like when they go into the dashboard, they can send an invoice. Like that's all there. So we want to make sure every merchant has a fantastic solution. Again, you can consult them. You have complete control of consulting them and saying, hey, I think you should use this or that. But we don't want to lose a merchant because they go to our dashboard and they're like, oh man, I can't even send an invoice. I guess I'm going to go with Square. It's like, no. You can send an invoice. You can accept ACH. Like we want to set them up with a fantastic solution from day one, and we're not charging anything for it. So
I got a question about surcharging, and I'm actually curious as this. I actually don't know the answer yet. So what about surcharging specifically with Stackably? I know right now we don't have that functionality built in the full stack payments app where you can choose any type of pricing model, dual pricing, interchange plus, flat rate, but not surcharging. So where are we at?
where did we land on that?
So surcharging should be available in the next 30 to 60 days.
Okay.
It is in development. It is something that we can have readily available if it's a higher priority. We kind of pushed it down. Currently, we can support dual pricing, cash discounting, and then surcharging and the flat rate.
Right.
But yeah, the surcharging is not quite.
For those of you that understand, like the surcharging, there's an extra step because you have to do the bin lookup. And so there was just some extra development stuff. I remember this now. So we had this car. Yeah. So we pushed that. We kicked that can a little bit to get ready for the event and all that. But yeah, if that's a big deal to you, definitely let us know. Reach out if you're like, hey, I could give you guys 4 or 5 merchants a month, but if you did compliant surcharging, and we'll kick that into high gear a little faster. So
talk about the QuickBooks. A couple of people asking about QuickBooks integration. One is we don't have a cost for the QuickBooks integration, and 2, how complex is it? Or how in-depth is it?
So I'll go more into the complexity of it on an actual call on one of the trainings. Jump on a training and we'll go through the QuickBooks complexities. It's a little difficult to explain sitting here without a, but so there is no cost for it though. It is included. If they have a QuickBooks Online account, they can hook it up to Stackably at no cost.
And by the way, if you go into Square and you're a merchant and you log into your dashboard, you want to connect it to QuickBooks, do you know how much it costs? Nothing. Like, I'm sorry, you can't charge for QuickBooks integration, everybody. Like, honestly, it's like, what are we doing? Like, we're trying to compete. We want to win. So like, let's provide competitive solutions. So yeah, no cost at all. And by the way, there is no cost. There's no underlying cost for QuickBooks integration. You build it, you're done with it. They don't charge you for it. So
there is a little complexity with it. And James fought me on this one a little bit because I was not going to include QuickBooks with the initial launch.
We may regret my decision.
He said, you have to.
That's pretty much what I said. But we'll have to do a separate training event for that because QuickBooks obviously can be really complicated, but I felt like, man, we have to include the QuickBooks integration. It's already there. It works great, but so.
All right, let's see. Do we do custom websites or what do we do with, if the merchant already has their website, do we?
So the great thing about the solution is, again, it will subdomain a web store for them. So if they want to keep their website but just plug in an online store because they're a smaller merchant and they only have a couple of items, but they'd really like to get them online, that's fully supported. You can literally put a button on your website that goes to shop, and then they can jump over to the web store. We don't currently support building out custom websites. That's something that will be coming along with the marketing plan whenever we roll that out in a few weeks to months.
Yeah.
Try to give myself a little bit of leadway there.
You notice how you just edged on that a little bit? Yeah, like I said, we have so many features, and it's a matter of like which ones we roll out first that we support. But yeah, most merchants for right now, they keep their same website. They use a link to go to the shop, and so.
Okay. Do we do anything with high risk? A couple people ask about smoke shops and things like that. Would this be a good solution?
We are getting there. So what I would say is still, if you want high risk, go through TCG. John, tell about that agent just today. Tell about that deal.
Yeah. So we had an agent submit a deal over to TCG that got approved, and it looks like that agent's residual is going to be about $6,000 a month.
One deal.
You know, from one deal that he sent over to TCG.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So we got that email this morning, which was a pretty cool update.
Yeah. So, but anyway, let's say if you have a high risk deal, go through TCG. So to be clear, TCG is like really tied in with us. They understand Stackably. We actually have a meeting with them tomorrow to talk about some different verticals they're going after. So yes, we are absolutely going to be supporting high risk through Stackably, but don't go through Stackably to do it. Stackably, the app and all of that, that's for low risk. If you have a high risk merchant, we got to get a merchant account first. We have already set up a lot of different gateway integrations so that we can handle deals like that, but you go through TCG first. And if they think it's a good fit for Stackably, they'll have that conversation, obviously including you in that, and then we can set them up.
Couple people posted a couple questions that they're trying to get me to slip up on and say some things here. So I got to be careful. I appreciate that, guys. Chris asked though, can we still book a demo for Stackably where it's a pretty much hands-off experience? Somebody submits a demo and we basically demo the merchant, sell the solution.
Can I answer that one? Cause like, I'm actually really passionate about this. So, all right. So first of all, to answer your question, yes-ish. So yes, you can schedule a demo right now. You'll reach out to Nick. Again, Nick's going to talk to you. We are going to enable the ability. So right now in the app, all you can do is start an application, but we are going to enable it so that you can either start an application or submit a demo. So we are doing that. However, you are the salesperson. Okay. We will do a demo, meaning I have somebody who can show them the software, but we don't know what you told them. Like, we don't know exactly what pricing. Like, if we demo them, we're going to demo them on dual pricing. That's first and foremost. So just so you understand, don't send us a demo if we're demoing dual pricing unless you tell us something different. But we'll do the demo, no problem. But again, we may or may not like close them on that. Like, we're not the salesperson, you're the salesperson. So you want to be on the demo. And then when they're done with the demo, you're jumping in, closing the sale or going back to the merchant location. So I want to make it very clear on the Stackably thing. I want you to have complete control, but I can't do that if there's all these different business models floating around in the air, right? So you're the salesperson. We will resource you in any way you need. We will demo the merchant. We will talk to the merchant. We'll answer questions for the merchant. We'll answer your questions. We'll do whatever you need, but you're the salesperson.
Okay. Is Stackably white labeled for the merchant?
Oh, good question.
Yeah. So as far as the customer facing app, the customer would actually download the Stackably app.
Right.
And then as soon as they sign in, they would see the merchant's logo. They would see the merchant's name. Everything that occurs in the app after they've signed in and went to that merchant would be specific to the merchant. However, they would download the Stackably app first.
Right. And in the dashboard, they're going to like Stackably.com, whatever the dashboard is. But
yeah, right. The web version would be,
right. But they still have their logo.
But it would have their logo.
Right.
The invoices are all going to have their branding on it.
Right.
And then I think that down at the bottom, it would say powered by Stackably.
And by the way,
but it is branded for the
Intuit doesn't even have that, by the way. So I don't know if you knew that, but like on the invoices, it says Intuit. At least with ours, it will say the
merchant's name with the merchant's logo. Yeah.
So yeah.
Does it have offline functionality, the POS app?
So it has offline functionality to the point that you would go to the app. You could still go through contacts. You couldn't send emails and texts and any functionality that would require data. But you could still go in, look at products, look at reports that would be cached in the app. The web version, obviously not.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, again, I'd say the short answer to that question is no, just to make sure that nobody gets confused with that. Cause you can't like run a transaction in offline mode. You can't so that'll be stuff we'll do down the road. Again, that's one of those features before we roll out the restaurant stack, Q1, Q2, obviously we'll have to make that more robust, but right now the short answer is no, it doesn't really have a robust offline mode. So.
James, can IceRamp be integrated into the partner portal?
Oh no. I tried so hard not to bring that up because I didn't want to spoil
I'm asking
that.
it. Somebody asked it, so I'm bringing it up.
Okay, everybody. So for those of you that are still on the event, I will give you a spoiler alert here. Okay. Yes, we are working to fully integrate statement analysis and training into the Full Stack Payments app for our agents. It will be free. It will be unbelievable. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. What I'm most excited about, to be honest, is that you're going to be able to see the margin like throughout the process. So like as you're like deciding like, oh, do I eat the cost on this hardware or not? It's like, well, if you uploaded a statement by taking a picture with your phone and auto cropping it, right? If you uploaded a statement, you'll know exactly what that margin is going to be, or at least, depending on how much detail is on the statement, but we're going to give you margin, either actual or estimated. And then as you go through the process, you can adjust your pricing and see exactly what your margin is going to be. And we're going to have the training in there. And yeah, we're doing like a full, but we're talking about January 1st. So I was going to not bring that up until a little bit later, but that's all right. Somebody asked the question, so I'll answer it.
Yeah,
so.
right. By the way, we do use TSYS. Some people have asked that.
Yeah, TSYS Sierra.
Lifetime residuals.
Of
Obviously,
course.
that's in the agreement, but you can touch on that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's lifetime residuals. Like look at the agreement. There's no way it's you can give it to your spouse or like it's residual income. If anybody has any issues with that, reach out to John, talked about it. But yeah, our goal with the agreement was to make it as simple as possible, as clear as possible. It's lifetime residuals. That's it. So
is the point of sale exclusive to SoonMe devices?
Yes. Well,
yes. And
right?
in terms of running a transaction off of it, yes.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, again, you can simulate it on an Android device. You can simulate it in the iOS App Store. So as far as it just, when you go and click card transaction and pay, it's not going to send from an iOS app to a device to run that transaction. So until we would have tap to pay or something like that on a device, it'll be specific to SoonMe.
Which is one of my personal pet projects right now. I'm working on it very vigorously. But yeah, I definitely want to have the ability so that when you're using your iOS or Android device, you'll be able to have the side reader or the tap on device. But again, I'm guessing that's a Q1, maybe even Q2 situation. So again, stay tuned on that one for right now. It's the devices, or again, I mean, they could pull it up on their phone and type in a card number. I mean, but that's really inconvenient. So
Brian asked a good question about we waive the fee if they're doing 5,000 or more in volume.
Right.
And how do we kind of verify that, or is it just based on the application? Is it based on volume? Do we have to get statements to show that volume?
Do you want to cover that one?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, basically it's both things. The first thing we do is we look at the volume that the merchant put as their estimated monthly processing
on the application.
And then the second thing would be, obviously, we're going to verify that with actual data once they start processing. So as long as, we're seeing that volume there, obviously it's just set up to waive those initial costs on the first device. Now, if there's additional device, one thing I didn't show whenever I created that application is you can click on like how many devices you need. So if you're working with a merchant and you have 2 devices and you choose that, that would change the Schedule A cost for that second device. There'd be a $15 Schedule A cost. So I want to clarify that as well.
Let's do like 2 more questions and then we'll wrap it up. I know a lot of you are hanging on. By the way, before we do that, real quick, if you haven't yet gone to ccsalespro.com/agent, take a minute to do that. Fill that form out. That way, Nick from our team will follow up with you. He can walk you through everything, answer questions that you have, get you set up, get you the marketing materials, get you the demo account. And then, if you don't want to do that, just type interested in the chat and we'll follow up with you. So go ahead, John. Let's do 2 more.
Can we get started selling now, or do we have to get a link first? Do we have to get a demo account?
You got to download the Full Stack Payments app, click on Stackably, and go close the sale. So go do it. I would love it. So
do we make anything on ACH? That's a great question. I mean, that's a quick one, but
you make so much money on ACH. Oh my word, like so much money. Here's the thing. I'm a little leery about this. I wasn't prepared to answer this question. I apologize. I should have been. John, we need to get a separate resource out about this because so here's the thing. You put a low risk merchant on ACH, you're going to make a ton of money. The Schedule A cost is very similar to like card processing, which is nuts. But there are going to be those merchants with slightly larger ticket sizes and stuff where we do have an additional basis point cost on the Schedule A for that. And, frankly, I just wasn't ready to talk about all that yet. But I mean, yes, you absolutely make money on ACH big time. I would really recommend if you're going to do dual pricing, go 2% ACH, 4% card in like an e-commerce environment. And you're going to make more money on ACH than you're going to make on card in that particular situation, or at least as much. That's what we do for CC storage.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Contract duration and cancellation fees. People asking, is there
month to month, no cancellation fee?
Yep. And then am I still good to go? Or
do another one. Why not? This is so fun.
There's like 100+ questions, so definitely we're not going to get to all the.
Okay. Well, we're going to let John pick one more, and then again, we will send all these questions over to Nick, and then Nick and John will work with you guys to get you the answers you need. So.
Do we provide tier 1 support for the software, hardware, and processing?
Yes.
Yep.
For everything. Now, to be clear, we do have one company we're working with. A good friend of mine has a fantastic company that does outsource some support. The reason we're doing that is just to have that 24/7 experience. Because, and again, like we're paying them like way more than what most companies would pay, because we're like, we don't want hold times. Like we want the phone picked up every time. So we do want that 24/7 experience. But again, they're going to be working on some of the more basic issues, but the primary purpose is they pick the phone up. They kind of look at the issue and go, okay, how urgent is this issue? And then it goes to our support team. So our US based, W2 employees, and even this other team, by the way, is US based as well. But, together we're going to provide that 24/7 experience. And for those of you that have worked with us in the past, I mean, if you work with CC Storage, you worked with ISOAMP, the kind of support that I believe in. The kind of support I believe in is the kind of support most companies think is stupid because it's so good. And I've talked to John and Ben. We've had long conversations about this. This is a debate that I've won, I think. We'll see so far. No, we provide fantastic support. Like no questions asked. We do anything that we can possibly do. Now, does that mean the merchant's gonna, sometimes the merchant's gonna ask for something that's just flat out really stupid, that it just doesn't make any sense? We're gonna stand up for ourselves in that situation and say, no, that doesn't make any sense. We're not gonna do that, right? Or you may ask for something that doesn't make sense. We're gonna have an honest conversation. We're gonna work through it, but no one is gonna provide a better support experience than we're gonna provide. Like we will support our products, our tech initially. We might have some features that we got to work out, or we might have a bug we have to fix real quick or something like that, but we're going to jump on it faster than anybody else. We're going to support it better than anybody else. And so we're really looking forward to working with you guys on it.
All right. Last question from another James. So is Full Stack committed to the ISV side of the business? This seems to involve, more agent becoming the sales expert or the software expert. I thought that was an interesting question.
It's a great question.
I definitely think it's one worth.
Yeah, sure. Let me do my best to answer that. So the way the new vision I have for this, so we obviously went through a lot of iterations, which is a startup. That's how it should be. When you're in a startup, what you know for sure is you're going to make mostly wrong decisions. And the key is how quickly are you going to learn from them and how quickly are you going to pivot away from them. So initially our idea was this kind of frictionless platform of like, we have all these vertical specific ISVs on one side, and we have agents on the other. Agent submits demo, software company sells demo, merchant gets activated, everybody's happy, everybody's clapping, right? Reality check, right? No, it doesn't work quite like that. So first of all, there are ISVs that are super high quality. Next week, we're rolling out Field Pulse, one of the best ISVs I've ever seen. Fantastic. But here's what's key. They have to not only understand software, they also have to understand how to deal with agents, right? You have to understand how to deal with you. So this new model where you get to do the merchant app, you have control, we're now bringing that to the ISV side, and we are going to be dramatically changing the number and which ISVs we have available. As you've already seen, we've done some of that. So the idea here is Stackably is going to be our core, right? So Stackably is going to support, 70, 80% of the businesses that you're going to go right. Then we're going to get these premier ISV partners, these third-party partners, think Micros, right? Stackably is never going to be Micros. Like never. I wouldn't even want it to be. Like that's insane. It's so good, and it's for like the 100 location fine dining place. Like we're not building that, okay? We're building a great solution for that quick serve or that fine dining independently owned business, but we're not building a competitor to Micros. So that's why we have Micros in there. Send it to Micros. We're not doing high risk. That's why you have TCG. We're not going to do the 200 location HVAC whatever company that needs field reporting and GPS tracking on their trucks. That's Field Pulse, right? We're not going to do self-storage property maps. That's CC Storage. So we're going to continue to develop this like premier list of like really, really solid, fantastic partners. We've got a lot more credibility now. Our reputation's gone up quite a bit in the, because again, these ISVs didn't know us, so now we can go to any ISV we want and they're going to partner with us. So we're going to go after those premier partners with Stackably being that core solution. And so you're definitely going to see a big change there. And a lot of this, frankly, came from your feedback. John and I were on a meeting with these agents, and I just popped into the meeting and said, how many of you would rather do the merchant app yourself? 97% were like, yes. I'm like, okay, how many of you would rather have an activation bonus versus a demo bonus? 97% wanted the activation bonus. I'm like, well, I don't know how much more data we need. Like everybody hates the way we're doing it. Let's do it different, right? So that was a clear, obvious thing there. And so, yeah, that's how we're doing Stackably. You're going to see that same concept with most of our partners where you're out there selling these merchant accounts. And then we're going to have these premier partners where it's like, hey, this is a huge merchant. It's an enterprise opportunity. This is something that needs like massive features that Stackably is not going to support. Go ahead and schedule that demo, get them over there and get them closed. Like the deal John mentioned earlier, $6,000 a month for this big high risk deal. We're not doing that. We're taking that to TCG. So.
Okay. I think that's there's definitely a lot of questions that we didn't answer. Myself, Nick, will be following up with everybody to get those questions answered. You can always reach out to me as well at john@fullstackpayments.com. And I try to answer your questions there as well.
Cool. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all so much. This has been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. For those of you who are still sticking around, my goodness, you're awesome. You're so committed. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Go sell somebody on Stackably. Let's go. I'm excited about it. Let's build this together. Let's have a lot of fun and let's have a lot of success. So thanks again, everybody. Have a great evening.